So for this exercise, let's say that the light is coming from the upper, so the upper left. So here's my light source right over here. And just focusing on the ground plane is basically going to be this area right over here. It's basically where the bowl is sitting on. Now when I have that, I'm going to make a few indications. So along here, I'm going to go around, so let's see, this is about 50-50. I'm going to go a little further out to here. So this will be my first marker, number 1. And then let's go with the second marker, number 2. And then of course this will be number 3, right along the edge. And this is not necessarily equidistant from here. This is maybe a little bit closer to the 3 than it is the 1, right? But these are kind of, they're somewhat arbitrary. So if my light is coming from this direction, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a very sort of subtle value stepping. And what I mean by value stepping is this area here is going to be 1 value, and then as it moves 1 step to this area right here, it's going to get a little bit lighter, and then as it moves to this step here, this large section, it's going to be the lightest. So let's try that. And I'm just going to work with black and white. So let's go ahead and start with this section here. Then I'm just going to bring that across. So I'm going to make this surface kind of a middle value. And then with a bit of care, just go ahead and paint around your drawing. And do your best to make that value the same throughout, so no sort of jumps in value. So if you can see from here to here, that value is pretty uniform throughout this ground. Okay, so this is now my ground plane. Go ahead and dry that out. Okay, so now once that's dried out, let's go ahead and add a second step. Not dissimilar from those charts, those value charts that you did early on. So for here, let's go ahead and add a second step. And then I'll go all the way up to my 1, because this is kind of our first designation. So up to here. And then once I have that here, notice how that edge is really hard. I'm going to quickly get some water over it and then just soften that edge up. See that? So that edge kind of disappears. All right. Alright, so now after you lock that down, we're going to add one last step. Let's go ahead and do that. Whoop, that's way too dark. So when you're doing this, you want it to be very gradual stepping. So not a lot of very dark areas. Okay, so up to here, and then go ahead and soften that edge as well. Now because of that, now you're going to get a subtle gradation from here over to here, where this area is lighter, and as you move back over to the right, it's going to get slightly darker. So the steps are very gradual. They're actually not a whole lot. And this is kind of what you would expect to see if your light source was over on the left. Lighter here and gets darker as you move along.